The silence in the Pacific Command Center was complete. For the first time in 4 minutes and 38 seconds, no weapons were firing. No alien ships were exploding. The tactical displays showed empty space where the Kethran invasion fleet had been. Admiral Jiwoo Choi stood in the center of the command room, looking at the screens that showed the aftermath of the battle. Debris clouds marked where alien ships had died. The largest pieces were no bigger than a car. Most of the Kethran fleet had been completely vaporized by weapons that turned matter back into pure energy. "Status report," she said quietly. Analyst Dong-Wook Kim checked his screens. "All enemy vessels destroyed, sir. No survivors detected, no escape pods, no distress beacons. The entire invasion fleet has been eliminated. Human casualties? 0, sir. No human ships were damaged. No personnel were injured. All weapon platforms are intact and ready for further operations." Admiral Choi nodded. The plan had worked perfectly. 200 years of preparation had paid off. But now came the hard part. Humanity had to decide what to do next. Within an hour, the Global Defense Council was meeting in the secure conference room beneath the Pacific Ocean. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered around a circular table. The room had been built for this moment, when humanity would have to make decisions that would affect the entire galaxy. President Mi-kyung Lee of the United Earth Government called the meeting to order. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes, but everyone in the room knew she had spent 30 years preparing for this day. "The immediate threat is over," she began, "but we now face a choice that will determine the future of our species and many others. The Kethran Empire spans 3,000 star systems. They have enslaved dozens of intelligent species. What do we do about it?" General Hyun-woo Shin, the head of Earth's military intelligence, stood up. His screen showed maps of Kethran space that had been gathered by secret observation posts throughout the galaxy. "Our monitoring stations have been watching the Kethran Empire for 50 years, he said. "We know the location of every major military base, every slave world, every prison colony. We have detailed information about their government, their military structure, and their weaknesses." The screen showed star maps with thousands of red dots. Each dot was a world under Kethran control. Many of them had been free civilizations before the aliens conquered them. The Empire controls approximately 40 billion intelligent beings. General Shin continued. "Most of them are slaves working in mines and factories. Some have been enslaved for hundreds of years. Their resistance movements have been fighting hopeless battles against impossible odds." Professor Chan Ho-yu, Earth's leading expert on alien cultures, activated his own presentation. The screen showed images of the species under Kethran control. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. All of them had suffered under alien rule. "We have identified 17 different intelligent species currently enslaved by the Kethrans," he said. "The Viridians have been fighting a resistance war for 200 years. The Crystalline Collective lost 90% of their population when they refused to surrender. The Harmony Singers had their entire homeworld turned into a mining operation. Ambassador Mi-kyung Lee, who shared a name with the president but was no relation, had spent years studying galactic politics from hidden observation posts. She knew more about alien civilizations than anyone else on Earth. "The destruction of their invasion fleet will cause chaos throughout Kethran space," she said. "Their military commanders will be fighting each other for control. Their slave worlds will see this as an opportunity to rebel, but they'll need help if they're going to succeed." Admiral Choi spoke from her position at the head of the table. "Our weapon platforms throughout the solar system are fully operational. Our ships are ready for deployment. We have the capability to strike any target in Kethran space within hours. The question," said President Lee, "is whether we should use that capability." The debate that followed lasted for 6 hours. Some argued that humanity should focus on defending Earth and leave the rest of the galaxy alone. Others insisted that they had a moral duty to help the enslaved species. A few suggested that destroying the Kethran Empire might just create a power vacuum that other hostile aliens would fill. General Shin presented intelligence reports about other alien empires. "The Kethrans aren't the only conquerors in this part of the galaxy," he said. "The hegemony of suns has enslaved twice as many worlds. The Machine Collective turns entire planets into factory worlds. The Shadow Lords feed on the suffering of other species. All the more reason to act," said Ambassador Lee. "If we demonstrate that conquest has consequences, other empires might think twice before attacking innocent worlds." Professor Yu had been analyzing alien communication networks. "I've been monitoring transmissions from across the galaxy," he said. "News of the fleet's destruction is already spreading. Some species are celebrating. Others are terrified. Everyone wants to know what humanity plans to do next." Dr. Hyojin Park, who had spent her life developing Earth's defensive technology, spoke for the first time during the meeting. "Our quantum communication network can reach any point in the galaxy instantly," she said. "We can coordinate simultaneous strikes against every major Kethran military installation. We can disable their ability to suppress rebellions while giving the enslaved worlds a chance to free themselves." Engineer Yeonsu added her own perspective. "Our manufacturing capabilities have been hidden from alien observation. We can produce ships and weapons faster than any other species in the galaxy. If we commit to this course of action, we can sustain operations indefinitely." The vote was closer than anyone expected. 47 representatives voted to take action against the Kethran Empire. 33 voted to focus on Earth's defense. 8 abstained. President Lee announced the decision to Admiral Choi. "The Global Defense Council authorizes you to begin liberation operations against Kethran slave worlds. Rules of engagement are simple. Protect the innocent, eliminate military targets, and offer freedom to any world that wants it." Admiral Choi returned to the command center and began issuing orders. Within hours, human ships were launching from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Captain Bo-Ram Lee took command of a strike force heading for the Kethran military headquarters near the Galactic core. Major Taehyun Ryu led another force toward the slave world of Viridian Prime. But before the military operations began, humanity had a message to send. Lieutenant Sung-Min Han opened communication channels to every inhabited world in the galaxy. The message would be transmitted simultaneously in over 300 languages. Advanced AI systems had spent years learning alien languages from intercepted communications. Admiral Choi stood in front of the camera that would broadcast her words to billions of intelligent beings across thousands of star systems. "People of the galaxy," she began. "I am Admiral Ji-Woo Choi of the Earth Defense Force. 1 hour ago, the Kethran Empire sent 53,000 ships to conquer our world. That fleet has been destroyed. Every ship, every weapon, every warrior who came to enslave us." She paused to let that information sink in. On worlds throughout Kethran space, enslaved beings stopped their work to listen. The Kethran Empire has ruled through fear and violence for too long. They have enslaved innocent species, destroyed entire civilizations, and caused suffering on a scale that defies imagination. Today, that ends. Across the galaxy, resistance fighters who had been hiding in caves and ruins began to hope for the first time in generations. To those who suffer under Kethran rule, help is coming. Human forces are moving to liberate your worlds. We offer you freedom, technology, and protection from any who would enslave you again. On the prison world of Hadrian's Grief, enslaved Viridians looked up at the sky and saw human ships dropping out of hyperspace. To the Kethran Empire and any others who would follow their example, your age of conquest is over. Humanity stands ready to defend the innocent and punish the wicked. Any species that chooses the path of slavery and oppression will face the same fate as the fleet that came to Earth. Emperor Zekthron of the Kethran Empire received the message in his palace on the capital world. Within minutes, he was issuing orders to recall all military forces to defend the core worlds. But it was already too late. To the free peoples of the galaxy, Earth extends its hand in friendship. We seek trade, knowledge, and peaceful cooperation. We offer our protection to any world that desires it. The galaxy has been ruled by fear for too long. It is time for hope." Admiral Choi finished her message and nodded to Lieutenant Han. The transmission ended, but its effects would be felt for generations. Within days, uprisings began on every Kethran slave world. Within weeks, the Empire's military was in full retreat. Within months, the last Kethran garrison surrendered to human forces. But the real change was deeper than military victory. For the first time in galactic history, a species had used overwhelming power not to conquer but to liberate. Humanity had announced itself as the guardian of freedom, and the galaxy would never be the same. From his office in the Seoul Defense Building, Daeho Kim watched ships returning from successful liberation missions. Earth's children were. Admiral Vextar's hand shook as he watched his fleet die. The tactical display showed red dots disappearing one by one. Each red dot was a ship full of Kethran warriors, ships that had conquered entire star systems, ships that had never lost a battle in 300 years of warfare. All of them were dying in seconds. "Sir, the humans are using some kind of phasing technology," his science officer reported, his voice filled with terror. "Their weapons are passing right through our shields like they don't exist. Our armor is useless. It's like they're shooting through empty space." A quantum torpedo hit the ship next to them. The weapon phased through the hull without leaving a hole, then exploded inside the ship's reactor core. The entire vessel vanished in a flash of white light that was brighter than a star. Captain Jae-Sung Park was leading humanity's fighter squadron through the alien formation. His ship, the Night Hunter, was invisible to enemy sensors and faster than anything the Kethrans had ever built. Behind him flew 200 other human pilots, each one enhanced with neural interfaces that let them think at computer speeds. "Dragon Squadron, this is Dragon Leader," he said over the quantum communication network. "Enemy formation is breaking apart. Pick your targets and engage at will." His ship accelerated to speeds that would have killed an unenhanced human. The neural interface in his brain processed information faster than any alien computer. He could see the battle in slow motion, track hundreds of enemy ships at once, and calculate firing solutions while performing maneuvers that defied physics. A Kethran destroyer tried to target him with its main cannon. The alien weapon was powerful enough to destroy a city, but it was also slow and clumsy. Park's ship danced around the energy beam like it was standing still, then fired a single quantum missile that deleted the destroyer from existence. "Dragon 2 has eliminated enemy cruiser," reported one of his pilots. "Dragon 5 is engaging their fighter screen. Dragon 7 has a clean shot on their command ship." The human fighters moved through the alien fleet like sharks through a school of fish. Each pilot was connected to all the others through quantum communication. They shared information instantly, coordinated attacks without speaking, and fought as one unified organism. Commander Yejin Nam was directing the orbital weapons platforms around Earth's moon. Her station controlled 50 massive gun platforms, each one disguised as a piece of space debris. Now they revealed their true nature as the most powerful weapons ever built. "Platform Alpha has target lock on enemy battleship," she announced. "Firing gravity cannon." The gravity weapon created a miniature black hole next to the alien ship. The black hole lasted for only a fraction of a second, but it was enough. The battleship was crushed into a ball of metal the size of a basketball, then disappeared as the black hole evaporated. Platform Beta is engaging enemy carrier group. Platform Gamma has eliminated their supply convoy. All targets are responding as expected. The weapons platforms work together like the fingers of a giant hand. Each one was connected to the others through quantum entanglement, sharing targeting data faster than light itself could travel. When one platform identified a target, all the others knew about it instantly. Analyst Dongwook Kim was tracking every enemy ship from his station in the command center. His screens showed the battle in real time, with computer projections of where each alien vessel would be in the next few seconds. "Enemy fleet strength is down to 800 ships," he reported. "Remaining vessels are scattered and attempting to flee. No organized resistance remains." The Kethran fleet had been trained to fight enemies who used conventional weapons, energy beams that could be blocked by shields, missiles that could be shot down by defensive systems, nuclear weapons that could be absorbed by armor. They had no defense against weapons that manipulated the fundamental forces of reality. Major Tai Hyun. Ryu was coordinating the hidden platforms throughout the solar system. Each platform was positioned at a strategic location where it could cover multiple escape routes. The aliens were trapped in a web of destruction that stretched from Mercury to Pluto. "Platform 7 reports all enemy vessels in Sector 4 eliminated," he announced. "Platform 12 has destroyed the last carrier group near Mars. Platform 45 is mopping up stragglers near the asteroid belt. Some of the surviving Kethran ships tried to hide behind planets or asteroids, but the human weapons could fire through solid matter as easily as through empty space. There was nowhere to run and nowhere to hide." Dr. Yoonji Seo was monitoring the quantum field generators that powered Earth's planetary defense system. The generators were converting matter directly into energy, using processes that alien science had never discovered. Each generator produced more power than an entire Kethran fleet. "Field generators are operating within normal parameters," she reported. "Power output is steady at 15 billion terawatts. We have enough energy to maintain operations for 6 more hours. But the battle wouldn't last 6 more hours. At the current rate of destruction, the entire alien fleet would be eliminated within minutes. Specialist So Young Kang was watching the quantum resonance cascade that made Earth's weapons possible. The cascade allowed energy to be transmitted instantly across vast distances, making every human weapon in the solar system part of one unified defense network. Quantum cascade is stable, she announced. All weapon systems are synchronized. Targeting computers are sharing data perfectly. The quantum cascade was humanity's greatest scientific achievement. It allowed them to coordinate attacks across millions of miles of space with perfect timing. When a target was identified near Earth, weapons near Jupiter could engage it instantly. Colonel Inho Jian was directing the ground-based weapons hidden beneath Earth's cities. These weapons were designed to stop any aliens that might try to land on the planet's surface. But with the alien fleet being destroyed so quickly, they might not be needed. Surface weapons remain on standby, he reported. All cities are protected by active defense grids. No enemy vessels are approaching the surface. The surviving Kethran ships were trying desperately to escape the solar system. They pushed their engines beyond safety limits, trying to reach the edge of human weapon range. But human technology had made the entire solar system into a killing field. Engineer Yansu monitored the hyperspace mining network that prevented faster-than-light travel. The mines created quantum interference patterns that made hyperspace navigation impossible. Any ship that tried to enter hyperspace would find itself trapped in an endless loop. Hyperspace interdiction field is holding steady, she reported. No enemy vessels can escape through faster-than-light travel. Conventional engine speeds are insufficient to leave the effective range of our weapons. Admiral Vextar realized that his people had made a terrible mistake. They had thought humans were weak because they seemed peaceful. They had assumed that any species advanced enough for interstellar communication would be easy to conquer. Instead, they had attacked the most dangerous predator in the galaxy. All ships transmit surrender codes, he ordered. Maybe they'll let some of us live. But the human weapons didn't stop firing. Every alien ship was a threat to innocent worlds throughout the galaxy. Every Kethran warrior had participated in the enslavement and murder of billions of beings. There would be no mercy for conquerors. Lieutenant Sung Min Han was monitoring alien communications. The surviving ships were broadcasting desperate pleas for mercy in dozens of languages. They were offering to surrender, to share technology, to provide information about their empire, sir. Multiple enemy vessels are attempting to surrender, he reported. Admiral Jiwoo Choi looked at the tactical display. Less than 300 alien ships remained out of the original 53,000. The battle had lasted exactly 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Continue firing, she ordered. These ships have destroyed entire civilizations. They've enslaved millions of innocent beings. Today, justice comes for them all. Captain Bo-Ram Lee was hunting down the last group of fleeing ships near Jupiter. Her invisible vessel moved like a ghost through the asteroid belt, targeting enemy vessels that thought they were safely hidden. Silent Runner has eliminated last enemy destroyer in Sector 7, she reported, beginning sweep of outer asteroid belt. Estimate 12 enemy vessels remaining in my sector. The quantum torpedoes from her ship phased through the asteroids and found their targets hiding behind them. Each torpedo carried enough energy to vaporize a mountain. Against alien ships, they were absolutely devastating. Admiral Vextar's ship was one of the last 20 vessels still intact. His once mighty fleet had been reduced to scattered debris floating in space. The humans had accomplished in minutes what should have taken months of fighting. How did we not know? He whispered to himself. How did our scouts miss this? His question was answered when Admiral Jiwoo Choi opened a communication channel to the surviving ships. Kethran vessels. This is Admiral Choi of the Earth Defense Force. Your invasion fleet has been destroyed. Your empire's reign of terror is ending today. You came here to enslave our world. Instead, you have given us the location of every Kethran military base in this sector of the galaxy. The remaining alien ships stopped trying to run. There was nowhere left to go. The first thing Admiral Vextar noticed was that his biggest ship was gone. The Worldbreaker, 12 miles of Kethran engineering and the pride of their fleet had simply vanished. One moment it was there. The next moment there was empty space where it used to be, no explosion. No debris, no energy signature. It was just gone. What happened to my flagship? He shouted from the bridge of his backup command vessel. His tactical officer stared at his screens in confusion. "Sir, I don't know. It was there, then it wasn't. Sensors show no trace of it anywhere." Around the solar system, the hidden human weapons platforms were revealing themselves. What had looked like ordinary asteroids were unfolding like metal flowers, exposing massive cannon barrels that glowed with blue energy. Space debris was transforming into missile launchers. Even some of the smaller moons around Jupiter were opening up to show weapon systems built deep inside them. But those weapons weren't the strangest part. Earth itself was glowing. The entire planet had become surrounded by a field of blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Energy readings coming from the world were beyond anything in Kethran science. Their computers couldn't even calculate how much power was being generated. In the Pacific Command Center, Specialist So-Young Kang was monitoring the quantum field generators. Her screen showed energy levels that would have been impossible just 50 years ago. Humanity had learned to manipulate the basic forces that held atoms together. "Planetary quantum field is stable," she reported. "Power output is 12 billion terawatts and climbing. All field generators are synchronized perfectly." Dr. Yoonji Seo had spent 30 years developing this technology. She was the woman who had figured out how to turn an entire planet into a focusing lens for quantum energy. Her work had made today possible. "Field coherence is holding at 99.7%, she said from her monitoring station. "We can maintain this level for approximately 6 hours before the generators need to cool down." Colonel In-Ho John was coordinating the ground-based weapons that were hidden beneath Earth cities. What looked like ordinary buildings were actually disguised weapon platforms. Subway systems were really particle beam tunnels. Office towers contained missile launchers. Even the Statue of Liberty had a plasma cannon hidden inside it. "All surface weapons are online," he reported. "Energy readings show the aliens are scanning our cities, but they can't figure out where the power is coming from." The Kethran fleet was in chaos. Their sensors were picking up weapon signatures from everywhere. Thousands of gun platforms that hadn't existed moments before. Energy readings that made no sense according to their understanding of physics. And ships that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Captain Boram Lee was finally in her real ship, the Silent Runner. It had been hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid for the past 6 months, waiting for this moment. Now she was launching with thousands of other human vessels that the aliens had never detected. "Hunter Squadron is away," she reported over the quantum communication network. "All stealth systems are functioning. The aliens still can't see us coming." Her ship was built using technology that the Kethrans had never encountered. It could bend light around itself, becoming completely invisible. It could mask its energy signature, making it undetectable to sensors. And it could move faster than anything the aliens had ever built. Major Taehyun Ryu was directing the fire from the hidden platforms throughout the solar system. Each platform was more powerful than most Kethran capital ships, and there were thousands of them positioned at strategic points from Mercury to Pluto. "Platform 7 has destroyed 6 enemy destroyers," he announced. "Platform 12 is engaging their carrier group near Mars. Platform 45 reports complete. Elimination of enemy supply convoy. The weapons humanity was using defied everything the Kethrans thought they knew about warfare. Quantum torpedoes that could phase through solid matter and explode inside enemy ships. Gravity cannons that could create miniature black holes. Energy beams that manipulated fundamental forces to simply delete matter from existence." Admiral Vextar was trying to understand what was happening. His fleet of 53,000 ships was being destroyed by weapons that shouldn't exist. Enemy vessels were appearing and disappearing like ghosts. His heaviest armor was being penetrated by beams that seemed to ignore physical laws. "Get me a damage report," he yelled. "Sir, we've lost 7,000 ships in the first 30 seconds, his tactical officer replied, his voice shaking. "Enemy weapons are using unknown technology. Our shields are useless. Our armor might as well be paper. How is this possible? Our scouts said these humans were primitive." Commander Yijin Nam was operating one of the orbital weapon platforms hidden near Earth's moon. The platform looked like an ordinary space station from the outside, but inside it contained enough firepower to destroy an entire fleet. She was targeting the larger Kethran ships, the ones that posed the biggest threat. "Orbital Platform 3 has lock on enemy battlecruiser," she reported, firing quantum disruption beam. The beam hit the alien ship and it simply stopped existing. Not destroyed, not exploded, just gone. The quantum disruption beam broke down the bonds between atoms. turning solid matter back into basic energy. Analyst Dongwook Kim was tracking the battle from his station in the command center. His job was to make sure every alien ship was accounted for, and that none of them escaped to warn their empire about Earth's true capabilities. Enemy fleet cohesion is breaking down, he reported. They're trying to retreat, but they can't figure out which direction is safe. Our platforms have them surrounded on all sides. Dr. Hai-Jin Park was monitoring the planetary defense grid. Every power plant, every city, every piece of human technology on Earth was contributing to the massive energy field surrounding the planet. The field could do more than just power weapons. It could manipulate space and time itself. Planetary grid is operating at maximum efficiency, she said. We have enough power to maintain defensive operations for days if necessary. But it wouldn't take days. The Kethran fleet was being destroyed faster than their computers could count the losses. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds were being eliminated in seconds by weapons they couldn't understand. Some of the alien vessels tried to run. They activated their fastest engines and attempted to escape the solar system. But humanity had been preparing for this possibility too. Engineer Yon Su had spent years developing the hyperspace mining network. What looked like ordinary space mines were actually devices that could detonate entire sections of hyperspace, making faster-than-light travel impossible in those areas. Hyperspace mines are active, she announced. No enemy vessels can escape through faster-than-light travel. The entire solar system is locked down. The few Kethran ships that tried to enter hyperspace found themselves trapped in an endless loop, unable to complete their jump. They emerged back into normal space only to face more human weapons. Admiral Vexitar realized that his empire's greatest fleet was doomed. These humans had planned everything perfectly. They had let the Kethrans get close, let them feel confident, then revealed a level of military technology that was centuries ahead of anything his people possessed. All ships, full retreat, he ordered. Use conventional engines. Get us out of here! But there was nowhere to run. Human weapons platforms surrounded the entire solar system. Invisible ships were hunting down fleeing vessels, and the planet Earth itself had become a weapon that could reach across millions of miles to destroy anything that moved. Lieutenant Sungmin Han was monitoring alien communications. The enemy fleet was in complete panic. Their commanders were screaming orders that made no sense. Their pilots were abandoning ships. Their mighty empire had just discovered that it was not the most powerful force in the galaxy. Sir, we're picking up distress calls from across their fleet, he reported. They're asking their homeworlds for help, but they're also warning them to stay away from this system. Admiral Ji Woo Choi watched the tactical display as the last organized groups of alien ships were systematically destroyed. 200 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity had pretended to be weak, while secretly becoming the most dangerous species in the galaxy. How many enemy ships remain? She asked. Approximately 2,000, sir, replied Major Ryu. They're scattered and trying to hide behind asteroids. None of them pose any real threat. The battle was nearly over. In less than 5 minutes, humanity had destroyed 96% of the largest invasion fleet in galactic history. They had done it without losing a single real ship or a single human life. But Admiral Choi wasn't finished yet. The galaxy needed to see what happened to those who threatened innocent worlds. The Kethran Empire had enslaved millions of beings across thousands of star systems. Today, their reign of terror would end. Open a channel to any surviving Kethran vessels, she ordered. Let's give them a message to take home. The morning started like any other Tuesday on Earth. Dae-ho Kim sat in his office on the 40th floor of the Seoul Defense Building, drinking his third cup of coffee while reading reports from the outer solar system. The reports were boring. Supply ships moving between Mars and Jupiter, mining operations in the asteroid belt running normally. Nothing unusual happening anywhere. That changed at exactly 11:47 a.m. when his computer screen flashed red. Sir, we have a problem, said Hai-Jin Park as she rushed into his office. Her white lab coat was still smoking slightly from whatever experiment she had been running. Long-range sensors just picked up something big at the edge of the solar system. Dae-ho set down his coffee cup. How big? Really big. Like 50,000 ships big. The coffee cup hit the floor. Within minutes, the command center beneath the Pacific Ocean was buzzing with activity. Dae-ho took the high-speed elevator down through 3 miles of rock and steel to reach the hidden facility that very few humans knew existed. The elevator ride took 8 minutes. He used that time to think about everything that had led to this moment. 200 years ago, when humans first developed faster-than-light communication, they had sent peaceful messages into space. The reply came back within a week. It was not peaceful. The message was simple. Your world will be conquered. Resistance is futile. Prepare for slavery. Humans had a different idea about that. The command center looked like something from a science fiction movie. Massive screens covered every wall, showing views of space from thousands of hidden cameras throughout the solar system. Admiral Ji-Woo Choi stood in the center of it all, her gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, her eyes focused on the main display. "Show me what we're dealing with," Daeho said as he joined her. The screen showed space near Pluto. At first, it looked empty. Then the stars began to disappear. One by one, black shapes moved across the star field, blocking out the light. The ships were enormous. Each one was the size of a small city. There were hundreds of them, then thousands, then more than anyone could count. "Computer estimates 53,000 vessels," said Boram Lee from her station. She was the best pilot in the Earth Defense Force, though most people thought she just flew cargo ships between Earth and the Moon. "Biggest ships are 12 miles long. They're moving toward Earth at half-light speed." "Time until arrival?" asked Admiral Choi. 24 hours if they maintain current speed." Daeho watched the alien fleet on the screen. Each ship bristled with weapons. Energy cannons, missile launchers, and things that human science didn't have names for yet. The aliens had clearly done this before. Their formation was perfect. Their ships moved together like a school of fish, each one knowing exactly where the others were. "Any communication from them?" he asked. Lieutenant Sungmin Han looked up from his station. "Yes, sir. Message coming in now." He pressed a button and the alien voice filled the command center. The computer translated it into Korean, but Daeho could hear the original underneath. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "People of the third planet, you have been selected for incorporation into the Kethrin Empire. Your world contains resources we require. Your species will serve as workers in our mines and factories. You have 24 of your time units to surrender. Prepare landing zones for our ships. Any resistance will result in the destruction of your cities and the death of 90% of your population." This message will not be repeated. The command center fell silent. On the screen, the alien fleet continued its steady approach toward Earth. Their ships were so large that they created their own gravity fields, bending space around them as they moved. Admiral Choi turned to face the room. "Well, that was rude." A few people laughed, but most stayed focused on their screens. Everyone in this room had trained for this day. Their parents had trained for this day. Their grandparents had helped build the systems they were now using. "What do our visible defenses look like to them?" asked Daeho engineer Yansu. Oh pulled up another screen. It showed Earth as the aliens would see it. A few space stations orbited the planet. Some mining ships moved between Earth and the asteroid belt. A small fleet of patrol boats guarded the major shipping lanes. To anyone watching from outside, Earth looked like a peaceful trading world with basic defenses. 200 ships, sir. All small. Nothing bigger than a destroyer. Our orbital stations look like civilian structures. The aliens probably think we're an easy target. "Perfect," said Admiral Choi. "Maintain the illusion. I want them confident when they arrive." Dr. Hyejin Park was standing near the engineering station, watching her own screens. These showed the real defenses that the aliens couldn't see. Hidden weapon platforms scattered throughout the solar system. Underground facilities on dozens of moons and asteroids. Ships disguised as space debris. And beneath it all, the most important secret of all. "How's the planetary grid?" asked Daeho. "Running at optimal levels," she replied. "Every power plant, every city, every communication array is connected and ready. We've been testing it for decades. It works perfectly." What the aliens didn't know was that Earth itself was a weapon. Every piece of human technology on the planet was connected through quantum communication networks. The power grid, the internet, the transportation systems, even the lights in people's homes. Everything was part of one massive, integrated system. Major Tae-Hyun Ryu was coordinating with the hidden platforms scattered throughout the solar system. His screens showed their locations as tiny green dots. There were thousands of them. They looked like asteroids or pieces of space junk to any outside observer. In reality, they were the most advanced weapons ever built. "All stations report ready, sir. Fusion reactors are charged. Quantum torpedoes are loaded. Gravity field generators are online. Excellent. Maintain radio silence until we give the order." Captain Bo-Ram Lee was reviewing the enemy fleet composition. Her job was to make sure every alien ship was tracked and targeted before the fighting started. "Sir, I'm seeing their battle formation. They're using standard conquest protocols. Big ships in front to soak up damage. Medium ships providing fire support. Small ships for cleanup operations. They expect us to fight like everyone else they've conquered." "They're going to be disappointed," said Admiral Choi. The next 23 hours passed slowly. The alien fleet continued its approach, growing larger on the screens with each passing hour. Earth's cities continued their normal routines. People went to work, children went to school, families had dinner together. Most of them had no idea what was coming, but those who knew were ready. As the final hour approached, Daeho found himself thinking about all the species the Catherine Empire had conquered. Millions of intelligent beings enslaved or killed. Entire civilizations wiped out because they couldn't defend themselves. Peaceful worlds turned into mining operations and slave camps. Not today. "Alien fleet is crossing the orbit of Mars," reported Bo-Ram Lee. "They're slowing down. Looks like they want to give us time to think about surrendering." "How thoughtful of them," said Admiral Choi. "Signal all stations. Protocol 7 is authorized. Initiate on my command." Daeho watched the main screen as 53,000 alien warships approached Earth. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a city. Together, they could turn the entire planet into a lifeless rock. The aliens knew this. They were counting on fear to make humans surrender without a fight. They had made a serious mistake. "Fleet is entering. Effective weapons range," announced Major Ryu. "All platforms locked onto targets." Admiral Choi stood up straight. "Send them our reply." Lieutenant Han opened the communication channel. Admiral Choi's voice was calm and polite. "Catherine Fleet, thank you for coming all this way. We appreciate you gathering your ships in one convenient location. Earth's response to your ultimatum is as follows. No. Initiating Protocol 7 in 3 seconds. She looked around the command center at all the people who had spent their lives preparing for this moment. Execute. The Catherine Fleet Commander, Admiral Vextar, felt pleased as he watched the small human ships launch from their orbital stations. His massive command ship, the Worldbreaker, was so large that it had its own weather systems. Storm clouds formed around its weapon towers. Lightning crackled between its shield generators. "Pathetic," he said to his second-in-command. 200 tiny vessels against 53,000 of our warships. These humans must be even more primitive than our scouts reported. The human ships were spreading out in what looked like a defensive formation. They were small and fast, but their weapons were clearly weak. Some of them were barely larger than a fighter craft. The biggest ones might have been able to threaten a Catherine patrol boat, but nothing more. "Should we bother taking prisoners?" asked the weapons officer. "A few, perhaps. We need some alive to operate their mining equipment." Admiral Vextar studied the tactical display. The human fleet was trying to position itself between the Catherine ships and Earth. It was brave but pointless. "Begin the attack. Make it quick." Down in the Pacific Command Center, Daeho Kim watched the alien energy beams tear through Earth's decoy fleet. Each ship that died sent out realistic distress signals. Emergency beacons activated. Life pods ejected into space. To any observer, it looked like brave human defenders were being slaughtered while trying to protect their homeworld. "The drones are performing perfectly," said Engineer Yansu. Oh, she had designed these decoy ships herself. Each one was an unmanned craft built to look exactly like a manned vessel when scanned by alien sensors. They even had fake life signs and artificial gravity signatures. The aliens are completely convinced they're fighting real crews. Captain Bo-Ram Lee was sitting safely in the command center, but on the alien screens, it looked like she was piloting one of the doomed ships. Her real vessel, the Silent Runner, was hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid near Jupiter, along with thousands of other ships that the aliens couldn't see. "Decoy fleet is down to 50%, she reported. "The aliens are using basic energy weapons. Nothing too advanced. Their targeting systems are good, but not great." Dr. Haijin Park was monitoring the planetary defense grid from her station. Every power plant on Earth was connected to the system. Every satellite. Every communication tower. The entire planet was one massive weapon. But to the aliens, it just looked like a normal world with cities and farms. "Grid is holding steady at 99% efficiency," she said. "All quantum field generators are online. The planet is ready. Admiral Jiwoo Choi nodded. Everything was going according to plan. The aliens were destroying the decoy fleet exactly as expected. They were confident, relaxed. Their ships were spread out in a perfect attack formation that would make them easy targets when the real fighting started. Major Taehyun Ryu was coordinating with the hidden weapon platforms throughout the solar system. There were thousands of them, disguised as asteroids, space debris, and abandoned satellites. Each one was more powerful than the aliens' biggest ships, but they looked completely harmless. Platform 7 reports enemy destroyer moving within range, he said quietly. Platform 12 has a clear shot at their command ship. Platform 45 is tracking their supply vessels. Hold positions, ordered Admiral Choi. Let them think they're winning. Lieutenant Sung Min Han was listening to alien communications. The enemy was using basic encryption that human computers had broken within minutes. The aliens were celebrating their easy victory. They're already discussing how to divide up Earth's resources, he reported. Sounds like they want to strip mine the continents and turn the oceans into fuel depots. Over my dead body, muttered Daeho. The last of the decoy ships exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The alien fleet moved closer to Earth, their weapons still hot from the brief battle. On their screens, the planet looked defenseless. No more ships were launching. No energy signatures that might indicate hidden weapons. Just a blue and green world full of resources waiting to be taken. Admiral Vexitar was already planning the invasion. His ground forces would land in the major cities first. Take control of the government buildings and communication centers. Round up the population for processing. It was a routine operation he had performed dozens of times before. Prepare landing craft, he ordered. I want the first wave on the surface within 6 hours. But something was bothering him. The human response had been too weak. Even primitive species usually put up more of a fight. He had conquered worlds where the defenders fought with chemical rockets and nuclear missiles. Those battles had lasted weeks. This had taken less than an hour. Sir, said his intelligence officer, something strange about these humans. What do you mean? Our scouts reported that they had faster-than-light communication technology. But species with that level of technology should have better weapons. These ships we just destroyed were barely more advanced than chemical rockets. Admiral Vextar thought about this. It was unusual. Most species developed weapons and communication technology at the same rate. The humans seem to have skipped the weapons part entirely. Perhaps they are a peaceful species, he said finally. Some races focus on science and trade instead of warfare. It makes conquest easier. Down in the command center, Dr. Hee-Jin Park was smiling. The aliens were doing exactly what human planners had hoped they would do. They were moving into the perfect position. Enemy fleet is spreading out around the planet, reported Captain Boram Lee. They're trying to cover all escape routes. Their formation is exactly what we predicted. Specialist So Young Kang was monitoring the quantum field generators hidden beneath Earth's surface. These devices could manipulate the basic forces of physics in ways that alien science had never imagined. They had taken 200 years to develop and another 50 years to install throughout the planet. All generators are synchronized, she reported. Field coherence is perfect. We can maintain this for hours if needed. Colonel In-Ho John was watching the ground-based defense systems. Every major city on Earth had weapons hidden beneath it. Particle beam cannons disguised as subway tunnels. Missile launchers built into office buildings. Shield generators that looked like power stations. Ground defenses are ready, sir. The aliens won't even reach the surface. The Kethrin fleet was now in perfect position. Their ships formed a sphere around Earth, with the biggest vessels closest to the planet. They were preparing to begin bombardment of the surface, to soften up any remaining resistance before landing their troops. Admiral Vextar felt satisfied. Another world would fall to the Kethrin Empire. Another species would join the millions already working in their mines and factories. The humans had tried to resist, but like all the others, they had failed. Begin orbital bombardment, he commanded. Target their major cities first. Leave the industrial areas intact. We will need those facilities, the alien weapons charged up. Energy readings spiked across the fleet, targeting computers locked onto Earth's population centers. In moments, the bombardment would begin. That was when Admiral Jiwoo Choi opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Attention, Kethrin vessels, she said calmly. Thank you for gathering your ships in such a convenient formation. It makes our job much easier. Earth's official response to your conquest attempt is as follows. She paused for a moment. looking around the command center at all the humans who had spent their lives preparing for this moment. No, Admiral Vexitar frowned. What did she mean by convenient formation? Activating all platforms, announced Major Ryu. Weapons are hot. Targets are locked. Planetary grid at maximum power, reported Dr. Park. All systems ready. Begin Protocol 7, ordered Admiral Choi. Throughout the solar system, thousands of hidden weapon platforms powered up simultaneously. Asteroids unfolded to reveal massive particle beam cannons. Space debris transformed into missile launchers. What the aliens had thought was an empty solar system suddenly bristled with more firepower than they had ever seen. But the real surprise was yet to come. Initiating planetary quantum field, announced Specialist Kang. The entire planet Earth began to glow with a soft blue light. Every city, every power plant, every communication tower was now part of one massive weapon system. The quantum field generators hidden beneath the surface created an energy field that surrounded the entire world. Admiral Vexitar stared at his tactical display in shock. Thousands of new contacts had appeared on his screens. Weapons were targeting his ships from every direction. The planet itself was generating energy readings that shouldn't be possible. "What is this?" he whispered. His question was answered 3 seconds later when every weapon in the solar system fired at once.